Privately owned, Shanghai-based and growing fast, Juneyao Air is one of the more interesting players in the Chinese aviation market. But unlike China's big three, that's Air China, China Eastern and China Southern, Juneyao Air has no state ownership. And with a growing fleet of over 100 aircraft, 10 of which are Boeing 787 Dreamliners for their long-haul flying, Juneyao Air are fast pushing beyond the boundaries of China into places like Europe and, especially for us today, here in Australia too. But can Juneyao Air realistically compete with China's big three and other big players in the Asian travel market? And what exactly do you get when you're flying with Juneyao Air in their business class product on the Boeing 787 Dreamliner? So this is the Mahaba Lounge, which you get access to if you're flying with Juneyao business class, because they don't have a dedicated lounge here at Melbourne Airport. It's a shared lounge, so you also have passengers here who are flying with other airlines as well. Plus, Priority Pass members can pay to be in here as well. So it can get a little bit busy in this lounge sometimes, but it's still a nice place to kind of stretch out and relax. It's a morning flight that we're on today, so the food options that they have here are obviously the breakfast options. There were some pastries available. There's some hot meal options as well. This is also on the upper level of Melbourne's airport, just like the Qantas First Class Lounge, which is just across the hallway from where we are now, which means that you get a good view over the apron as well, and nice big light windows, which is good for a morning flight to wake you up before you get on board, which we'll be doing in probably about 15 minutes time. So today we're flying from here in Melbourne out to Shanghai to have a look at the Juneyao business class experience, see what you get on board, and to have a look at whether Shanghai is a viable stopover destination if you are ever travelling long haul between Australia and Europe.
I think it's one of the prettiest planes. The design is so pretty. I love the peonies. I love the colour burgundy, so in.
Matches your handbag.
I know, I matched so perfectly for the plane.
So I'm in 8K, you're in
7H.
7H, and we've been told we're sitting together, but we're not sure if we're sitting together.
No, I think I'm in front of you. I think we're both on windows, but I'm in front and you're the row behind, but I don't know why I made you your cat.
This is perfect. Hello, how are you? Thankfully though, as you can see, yes, we did eventually work out that our seats were in fact next to each other, both of us having window seats with aisle access at the back right hand side of the business class cabin. The Juneyao 787 has 8 rows in business class, each with 4 seats in a 1-2-1 configuration, apart from the very first row, which has this single seat all to itself. It looks tempting, right, if you are travelling alone, but it's also right behind one of the toilets. So you will potentially get quite a bit of foot traffic next to you and potentially people standing there waiting to access the toilets. It is also right next to where they have all the snacks during the flight as well, so you know, pros and cons. As we settled into our seats for the flight, I was given a hot towel. I very excitedly discovered that I had a pair of slippers as well, so I tried those on using YouTube editing magic. I watched the very pink safety video, and we were also served a welcome drink. You get a choice of a pink champagne or an orange juice when you sit down, just as they're getting the cabin ready, getting everybody ready to go. I've already drunk my orange juice, as you can see. Jackie got a pink champagne, which she's really happy about, I think because it matches the majority of the things that she's bought on this flight. I'll do a full seat tour once we've taken off, show you what's in the little pocket next to me, how this seat actually works. But just quickly, it's basically the same seat design as the ones that you'd be familiar with if you've ever flown Qantas business class on something like the A330s between Australia and Asia. And then in front of you, you've got your TV screen, a little pocket to the left-hand side where you can... I'd never know what you put in those things, but anyway, there's a little pocket for magazines and things on the left, and a coat hook as well. As we're taxiing out here, I want to just quickly mention cost before we take off, because Juneyao Air actually generally comes in as one of the more affordable business class options when you are flying these long haul flights. Now, today's flight is going to be just over 10 hours, and I've actually found tickets on this flight, one-way tickets between Australia and Shanghai, for around 2,500 Australian dollars. Now, when you compare that to what you might be paying on probably one of the direct competitors, which would be China Eastern, say, on this route, generally speaking, I've found Juneyao Air to be cheaper. And when you also compare it to other airlines that might be flying into Asia, like Qantas or some of the other Asian airlines, then it actually becomes a fair amount cheaper. Now, obviously, you need to consider what exactly you get for that, and the product and the service does differ from someone like, say, flying Qantas into Asia or flying JAL or ANA into Japan. But if you look at the key criteria that I want when I'm travelling in business class, which is a lie flat bed, a comfortable environment obviously, but really critically a 1-2-1 configuration, so I can have a window seat but also have direct aisle access as well. For the price that you're paying when you fly with Juneyao, and that being a fair amount cheaper than flying with other airlines, already, even before we've taken off, makes this quite an appealing option. Now, this isn't the first time I've actually flown with Juneyao. Last year I flew them domestically between Shanghai and Beijing, and apparently someone at the airline actually saw that video, because a few months ago they did actually reach out and asked if I'd like to try this Melbourne to Shanghai route. I was very keen to share what Juneyao's business class was like, so I said yes, but only on the condition that Jackie could join me, which they very kindly agreed to. But do note, Juneyao have not given me any talking points for this video. They won't see this video before it goes live, and they have no editorial control over what I say. So everything you see here is our honest experience, but because Shanghai is somewhere that we wanted to visit for a while, it did feel like a perfect opportunity to see what the Juneyao experience was really like. Food-wise on this flight, there's going to be 2 meals that are served because it's obviously morning time coming out of Melbourne. On the outbound leg, you get a breakfast first and then a dinner. If you are flying back on the return leg, it takes off from Shanghai in the evening, so you get a dinner and then a breakfast. And the options today are, well, you've got a chicken congee, or a cheese and chive egg omelette, or a bacon roast, tomato, mushroom and spinach, or you can just get milk and cereal. And here's the other thing with the 787 Dreamliner. Now the crew have automatically dimmed the windows on this flight, which, as I've mentioned before, as someone who enjoys looking out of the window, especially on a day flight, it's kind of a little bit annoying. The question though is, have the crew locked those windows in the fully dimmed position, or can you, on an individual window basis, override that? Let's find out. Crisis averting, and then there's a dinner course which you can get the option of whether you want to sleep or be woken up for, and for that there's a bread and appetizer course, some soups, a dessert and fruit course, and then the option of cheese, which I'm pretty confident Jackie will be choosing. I do find that the 787 Dreamliner is a little bit more aggressive when it comes to GPS shielding compared to some of the other aircraft that you fly, so I can't get a GPS signal on my iPhone at the moment because I wanted to find out what altitude we're at, because the seatbelt sign has only just gone off. But based on my assumptions as a pilot, I would say we're most likely over 20,000 feet at this point before the seatbelt sign has gone off. And look how low below us the cloud tops actually are, so we were well clear of the clouds for quite a long time before the seatbelt sign is switched off. Let's take a quick look around what you actually get in this business class seat. Then starting with over to my left, there's a headphone jack for your in-flight entertainment. You've got a charging point which has got a USB-A charging plug in there as well. Little water bottle, headphones, amenity kit, your little pop-out control for your in-flight entertainment, and then there's a plethora of seat controls here. Obviously full flatbed, reclining position, upright for landing and takeoff. And then what's this? Oh, massage function. A few different lighting options, little lamp next to you and your main overhead light. And those are replicated down here next to you as well, and that's probably just for when your seat's made out into a bed, so you can easily reach those when you're lying down. Your tray table, pretty much the same as the Qantas one. Very comfy. Breakfast time. Because I've ordered the special meal on board here, this is the vegan option. It looks really nice actually. I've got some stuffed mushrooms with a bit of spinach, baked beans, tomato, little fruit salad, some bread, obviously a glass of breakfast champagne. Jackie, on the other hand, does not order the special meal, so let's see what she got.
Alright, here is my Western style breakfast. I've got an omelette, bacon, spinach, potatoes, mushrooms, tomato, a Danish, some fruit, cereal. It's actually a pretty decent sized meal. Looks pretty good. And maybe a sneaky glass of champagne.
Now, we're not earning any Qantas frequent flyer points on this flight. Both Jackie and I are frequent flyer members with Qantas. We accrue points in the One World Alliance, which Juneyao Air is not part of. And it's also not part of Star Alliance, but it kind of is part of Star Alliance because it's what's called a Star Alliance Connect partner. And that just means that an airline can enjoy some of the benefits of the Star Alliance group without becoming a fully fledged member of the Alliance. And interestingly, if you listed all the airlines that are currently Star Alliance Connect partners, it would just be Juneyao Air. They're the only one who's currently part of that Connect Partner scheme. If you are a Star Alliance member with another airline, then what you get with Juneyao Air is, for example, if you're on 2 different flights, one with a Star Alliance airline like Singapore Airlines, and the second flight's with Juneyao, you can get your bags connected through on both flights. And with certain airlines, not all Star Alliance airlines, but a select few, you can also earn points into those schemes. Like I'm a Singapore Airlines KrisFlyer member as well, so I can earn KrisFlyer miles whilst flying Juneyao Air. But you can also, with certain airlines, redeem points on Juneyao as well. And if you are a higher tier member with Star Alliance, like if you're a Gold Elite member, for example, then you can get priority boarding, lounge access and other benefits when you are flying on Juneyao. Whether or not they will become a fully fledged Star Alliance member in the future isn't really known at the moment. I imagine they would, especially if they are expanding their routes into Australia and out into Europe as well. It's going to be a great benefit to the airline to become a fully fledged Star Alliance member. But for now, if you are flying with Juneyao Air and you are a member of another airline frequent flyer scheme, just check they are one of the airlines that has those reciprocal benefits with Juneyao Air before you go ahead and fly. I did notice this when flying in China last year as well, but even when there's a small amount of turbulence, you can just see the liquid moving around in my glass there. It's not very much. This is very, very light chop. The seatbelt sign nevertheless comes on. Must be more written into the standard operating procedures of the Chinese flight crew, because I noticed it when I was flying domestically in China last year, but even here on a long-haul international flight, still the seatbelt sign just keeps popping on and off as we go through little bits of what is at the moment. There's no clouds out there, so just a little bit of clear air turbulence. What have we got on the in-flight entertainment system? Most importantly, first of all, is it an interactive one? It is! Where are we at the moment? Coming up to the middle of Australia. Movies. There's games. Oh, what's identify animal? Damn it. As you can see by the swept-back wing out there, we're on a Boeing 787 Dreamliner today. This is one of 10 Dreamliners in the Juneyao fleet, which, apart from the 787s, is basically all the Airbus A320 family. The A319s, 320s and 321s basically operate some of their short-haul international and their domestic flying within China, but they reserve these 787 Dreamliners for the flights to Melbourne and Sydney, but also across to their destinations in Europe. I did read before coming on this flight as well, they did put in another order. I think there's 25 new A320 variants which are coming to Juneyao as well. I think they're due for delivery between 2028 and 2032, and some of those will include the new A320 Neos as well. But with, what is it, 90-something% of their fleet then being the Airbus A320 family, Juneyao really are, well, they're a narrow-body airline who are experimenting and investing into the long-haul business with their 787 Dreamliners. And I was going through some of the data of the aircraft fleet as well. Yes, this is the kind of stuff I do when I'm not making videos like this. And the average age of the Juneyao fleet is around 8 years old as well. So an expanding fleet, a relatively modern fleet, and if we start to see them investing in more of these 787 Dreamliners and the long-haul aircraft in the future, that wouldn't surprise me as they start to expand some of their international routes in the future as well. Interestingly, we had breakfast about 2.5 hours ago, and we still have 4 hours and 50 minutes until we get to Shanghai. But they're starting the dinner service now, which, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty hungry right now, and to be honest, you get a bit bored on some of these long flights, so food is always good. It's a bit of a distraction, and I definitely could eat. But I'm just used to, on these longer haul flights, having a dinner service more towards the end of the flight, like about 2 hours before you land is kind of the norm. Hello, thank you. So for my early dinner, late lunch, for this meal I've got, looks like an appetizer, I've got some rice and veggies, actually looks really nice. Bowl of fruit. Little glass of champagne as well. Oh, I wonder what Jackie's got. Jack?
To start with, for the standard meal, I've got some smoked salmon with a potato salad that's actually very delicious. Apologies, I started eating, so it looks a bit unattractive now, but it is delicious. Some fruit, and I'm assuming some bread will come with the main course, and some more champagne, of course.
The lady just brought around a selection of bread, and what's better than bread? Warm bread. So warm. My main course is here now as well, and I'm looking forward to this one mainly because it comes with a big wedge of potato. I've got this potato cake with some mushrooms and vegetables. There's another plate that's come as well, which has got like a selection of nuts and fruit. I've got another plate of more fruit as well, and then I've also got this dessert. Would you like me to get you a snack?
I'd love a snack.
You would love a snack?
I mean, I'm so full, but maybe for 2 hours' time.
A snack for 2 hours' time?
Yeah.
Allow me? know what they are, I just picked them up. So before this trip that we're doing today, I've only ever spent one day, or actually one night, at an airport hotel in Shanghai before. I've never really considered it as a stopover destination. I normally go through places like Singapore, Hong Kong, sometimes Bangkok, not as much there these days, but the Middle Eastern countries as well. But with Ethiopian Airlines recently announcing that they want to open new routes between Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, and Australia, and with companies like Juneyao now giving us more regular direct services between Australia and China, it'll be nice to have options, not just from a pricing perspective when travelling between Australia and Europe, but also if you want to have a stopover for a couple of days and break the journey up. From what I hear, Shanghai is a pretty cool city, so it's nice to have that as an option as well. I think Jackie's decided to make her bet, which is a good opportunity for me to demonstrate what it's like when these seats are put into their fully flatbed configuration. All right, I'm going to do the same, I think. After demoing the flatbed on this aircraft, I thought I should properly test it and fell asleep for a bit, actually waking up as we approached the top of descent into Shanghai. But when I looked at the map, I did notice that we'd actually taken quite an interesting flight path around Taiwan. When it comes to international airspace, many countries around the world manage the airspace within and quite often beyond its own land borders. These areas of airspace are known as Flight Information Regions, or FIRs, and this is Taiwan's FIR, within which air traffic control based in Taiwan manages and controls all of the air traffic. Any aircraft flying through that airspace must therefore coordinate with Taiwanese air traffic control. And because the People's Republic of China does not recognise Taiwan as a separate sovereign authority, formal operational coordination with the air traffic controllers in Taiwan starts to become politically sensitive, which I understand is why Chinese airlines like our one today avoid planning routes that rely on Taiwan's FIR and air traffic controllers. I wasn't sure if that was just an anomaly on the way out, and so on the way home I actually shot this footage showing how the southbound flights actually deviate the other way around Taiwanese airspace. We actually skimmed the southern land border of Japan before turning southwards to Australia. But after making that detour around Taiwan, it was time to start our descent into what was a rather grey and cloudy Shanghai.
Dear passengers and valued Juneyao Club members, our aircraft has now landed. Where Juneyao goes, your wishes take flight. Thank you for flying with Juneyao Air. We hope you enjoy your time at your destination and look forward to welcoming you on board again soon.
Wind coming from behind, great for my hair.
Oh, sorry, is your hair not good? Your hair looks great. So what were your thoughts on Juneyao Air?
I loved it. I thought it was really comfortable, one of the most comfortable seats I've been on in a while. I thought the service was efficient but lovely. So much food, did not go hungry at all. Very quiet cabin, which was great. Yeah, great, loved it. Entertainment probably could be a little bit better, but I generally take mine, so that didn't affect me. But I thought overall it was excellent. And Shanghai is great for a couple of days as a stopover for somewhere different to Singapore or Hong Kong. It's a really beautiful city, lots to see, amazing food. The people have been really lovely, great shopping.
Question then, would you stop over in Shanghai in the future as an alternative to Singapore if you could come through here for cheaper?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's always fun to visit different cities as well, and I've been to Singapore many times. And I love Singapore, it's a really easy stopover. But I think for something different, to mix it up and to fly Juneyao, which I thought was really comfortable for the price, I think is excellent.
All right, thanks to us for watching. Give us a like if you want to see more videos like this, especially ones with Jackie on the channel as well. But thank you very much for watching. I appreciate the support.
And hopefully we see you on the next flight.
That's so good. Thank you.